Chris Lee and Blake Lovell of Southeastern 14. At least he used to be Blake Lovell. Oh, you changed it back.
Well, so Chris, let's just quickly, folks. Arkansas fans can appreciate this. They've been with us the longest, but we have had so many technical
Oh my
issues in the
gosh.
past 2 days. It's not even funny. As you can see, more technical issues. The light I usually have is not working, and usually I can get a little sunlight here, not working either because it's cloudy. And folks, it's been technical issue after technical issue, but we are going to get you guys an Arkansas versus Kent State preview. And I did change my name temporarily at the bottom to Darth Blake, but when I reloaded, of course, Chris didn't take. So nonetheless, a comedy of errors here this week, but has not been a comedy of errors for the Arkansas Razorbacks thus far through week one.
Oh, I think this is fitting because you know what else is broken? Kent State football is broken. Let me just read you the box score from last week in a, what was it, a 63-7 loss to UCF? They scored so many points, I lost count.
56-6.
It was first downs 32-15, net rushing yards 389-95, passing yards 334-145. And now they will get an Arkansas team that, look, I'm not saying Arkansas played poorly because it did not, but the areas where we felt Arkansas would be really strong, running the ball with Rocket Sanders, left a little bit to be desired there. And I think that is a terrible combination if you're Kent State. You are not a good team, and now you're playing a team that probably feels like you could have played a little better, even though it played fairly well.
Yeah, I mean, Kent State, the least experienced team in college football. Phil still had a great kind of look at that in his preview for them, and 0 returning starters on offense. I think only 4 returning starters on defense. Like, that's just how many times you see that, right, Chris? I mean, how many times do we see that for a team in FBS? You just don't see that very often, even in the transfer portal era. And so, yeah, I mean, only 4 returning starters, period, on defense. And I mean, yes, you could look at the game one. We said this with all the SEC teams. You could say some things that, all right, maybe you get a little sloppy here. It's game one. There's some things that obviously you have to fix. But still, for Arkansas, right, you saw the upside. We said coming into the season, you knew that with KJ Jefferson, Rocket Sanders, and such, they're going to turn this thing up a notch. And maybe, like you mentioned, maybe you're not as happy with the yards per carry numbers and those kind of things in week one. But that stuff, when you have players like that, it's going to correct itself. And again, these are guys who can just break off for big plays at any time. So, yeah, on the Kent State side, though, this is going to be a tough matchup. Giving up 723 total yards to the Gus Malzahn led UCF team. Now you got to play a team like this in Arkansas that's just got a ton of weapons across the board. And so this is definitely that. If you're looking for a little more of a crisp performance, which I don't know, I mean, look, Arkansas put up 56 points in week one, but if you're looking for a more crisp performance, I think the matchup sets up quite well for that, for the Hogs.
When Kent State's got the ball a week ago, it had 3.3 yards per rushing play. Arkansas gave up just 2.7, 3.7 yards per passing play. That's hard to do. Arkansas gave up 5.1. Of course, secondary was an issue a year ago. Arkansas does get after the quarterback. Look, I don't know what to say here. Arkansas also caused turnovers, I think, on 7.1% of snaps last week. So there's that too. I'm not going to spend a lot of time breaking this down. Arkansas's got a clear advantage here.
Yeah, we're doing this for Arkansas fans. We're an SEC channel. We're doing our best. We try to do every FBS on FBS game, and that's why we're doing this one. But yeah, I mean, there's a reason Arkansas is a 38-point favorite, right? And it's because you just kind of look at the breakdown here, and we know they're gonna, we talked about it going into the season with Travis Williams and what they're going to try
They'll
to
get
do
after
there.
the quarterback. They'll force some turnovers. Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're going to try to do in this game. And Blaine talked about that quite a bit in a video he did on Tuesday morning. So you can kind of look at that if you're an Arkansas fan, some of the takeaways from week one. But that's going to be the same stuff we talk about going into week two, is just going after, Michael Alimos, their quarterback. I think he was a transfer from Purdue, Kent State. They're kind of looking at, I think, look, like I said, this team doesn't have any starters returning on offense. And so how do we really gauge exactly what Kent State is after 1 week, other than the fact that they lost 56-6 in week one? Clearly a team that needs a lot of reps together to keep improving on the offensive side, just because you've got all new guys on that side of the ball. I think they got a solid running back group, just kind of looking at the numbers there with those guys. But yeah, Arkansas should be aggressive early and often in this game.
Yeah, 4 interceptions for Arkansas last week, I think one of which went back for a touchdown, 101 return yards. So the defense was even a bit of an offense. Speaking of offense, Arkansas did not run the ball as expected last week with Heisman candidate Rocket Sanders. It had 3-point yards per rushing play, and it ran 57% of the time. But per passing play, 10 yards per passing play. Again, we take sacks out of that. Look, Arkansas's identity, I think a lot of it's going to be in the run game. It's got weapons for days in that area. And I think this will be a motivated Arkansas team that wants to reestablish its identity here. That might be a strong phrase, but if you look at the numbers, they were not pretty for Kent State a week ago. 8.7 yards per rushing play, 9.2 given up per passing play. And if not for a couple of interceptions that Kent State got, who knows how bad that game would have been.
Yeah, like we said, UCF 389 rushing yards. Ooh, that's not good going up against this team.
UCF was unranked preseason, by the way.
Yeah, well, again, it's not a good recipe when you're going up against this Arkansas team with the weapons that they have. Like we said, whether it's KJ Jefferson, Rocket Sanders, and so forth. Rushing yards should not. Now, look, if you come out of this game, you talk about the yards per carry numbers for Arkansas, then maybe you got, something you try to figure out moving forward. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they will, again, have a field day in terms of the running game. That should be the expectation going into a game like this. And I'll be honest, Chris, I ain't got a lot more to add on this game because it is one where you would fully expect to see the Arkansas offense do whatever they want in this game based off of the tape from UCF and Kent State's game last week.
Okay, let's talk about what it looks like at the end. Arkansas is a 38.5-point favorite as I'm doing this on Tuesday morning, a 58-point over-under. That makes for an implied final of 48-10 Arkansas. I'm looking at some other computers, and they are a little more bullish on Kent State, I guess. I don't think anybody's really bullish on Kent State, but it could be worse. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. ESPN's FPI has Arkansas as a 26-point favorite, I believe. And Jeff Sagarin has got Arkansas as a 31-point favorite. Look, I think there's still some numbers baked in from last year. Computers have a hard time figuring out what to do with teams early in the season with the transfer portal and everything. I'm sure there's some of last year baked in with Kent State, and Kent State wasn't good then too, and it got worse. I think 38.5 is more like it and probably not enough. And if Arkansas struggles for any significant length of time, I will be surprised.
Yeah, Kent State was a 35.5-point underdog last week against UCF, lost by 50 on the road. Now on the road against a better team in Arkansas, I think, than UCF. That's not knocking UCF. I just think Arkansas is a better team. So yeah, you and I always say we like to stay away from those when they get up in that 5 touchdown plus
Not
range. We're not professional bettors, but I would probably feel perfectly fine with Arkansas at that level right now. I just think they're better on both sides of the ball. Just don't think the offense on Kent State's going to catch up just yet. They got a lot still to do, again, with so many new guys, all new guys on that side of the ball. And so unless Arkansas commits a few turnovers, gives Kent State some easy opportunities to convert, I just think Arkansas should kind of do their thing in this game and probably run away with it. So.
All right, we're previewing every single SEC game this football season involving FBS teams.
We're going to do it no matter what, even if it means we got technical issues everywhere, folks. We are going to do these for you. It may not always look pretty,
technical issues,
but we are doing our best. So, hey, by the way, Chris, if people want to help support our building our own studio, which we've always tried to do here, you can leave some super chat money. You can find a sponsor for us, info@southeastern14.com. If you want to sponsor the show, be an advertiser, that helps us improve our technical issues where we can build this multi-million-dollar studio. So we'll put it right in downtown Fayetteville. How about that, Chris? That's the deal we'll make with Arkansas fans. So we appreciate you guys.
If you build it, we will come. All right. For Blake Lovell, I'm Chris Lee. We're Southeastern 14. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again with more preview videos.